We're chatting about the registry and the Civil Aviation Authority, its role, its structure. We're settling some of the misconceptions about its role and the difference between the Airports Authority. And we're talking about your growth and the success that the register has had and why that is. I think one of the products that you, because I would actually say your success has been because of your innovation. You have been very innovative every time you were challenged. You've come up with something new, whether it's a new system or a new product line. You developed VPC Online many years ago and you built on that platform. You introduced or saw the opportunity to take advantage of aircraft within that transition period and provided a real service to the leasing companies, particularly based in Ireland, with that transition registration and the ability to bring aircraft onto the register, ensure their ongoing and compliance and with safety, and then the ability to take them off the register as quickly as possible has been crucial for that. And the growth of that transition registration and the growth of the register generally can be attributed to a few things. And so let's talk a little bit more about the VPC Online. What's next for VPC Online? Because that's allowed the leasing companies, the lessors in Dublin, to log in remotely, upload all of the documentation for registration of aircraft that they would like to bring onto the register remotely, as long as they've created a profile, and be able to see all of the aircraft that they have registered with you. Is that correct?
Sharice, I think if we go back and look, we introduced VPC Online in 2012. So for primarily the operational side of the registry. And it worked really well. We consulted with clients and operators, beneficial owners, registered owners, to find out what their needs were when we developed and scoped that platform. Obviously, we've moved on, we've diversified, we've added the transitions, as you've mentioned. And so we're still in process, to be quite honest, in developing that module for them. We've spent quite a bit of time doing roadshows in Dublin, doing workshops in Dublin. We've listened, we've learned, because this is new to us, new for us. And so now we're still developing that module of VPC Online to really meet what the transition subsector needs. So I think going forward in the future, you'll see some refinements, you'll see more efficiencies. We've worked with the continuing airworthiness maintenance organizations to give them what they need to ensure the safety. So we're not done by any means. There are several iterations of VPC Online to come. And we hope that it will continue to add the efficiencies that we need to manage aircraft globally.
That's correct. The Cayman Islands Aircraft Register and the Civil Aviation Authority go hand in hand in that we are the custodians of that register. We are the face of the Cayman Islands Aircraft Registry. There are no third-party entities involved in the registration of aircraft in the Cayman Islands. And with that, we're able to maintain the transparency that is crucial to the reputation of the registry. Not just from a safety perspective, but when you're dealing with operators, they all operate within budgets, defined budgets, and they need to know exactly what a transition operation will cost to them. There are no hidden fees. And I think that transparency has boded well with that industry and has shown the Cayman Islands to be upfront in everything that they're presenting.
Now, what's next for the registry? Because you talked about innovation. I recognize the innovation. I recognize the thought process that is constantly taking place within your organization. What's next for you?
Well, the beauty about aviation is just over 100 years old. and it's still in its stages of innovation. We're now moving to unmanned air transport.
Is that something that you, as a register or regulator?
Not yet, but it certainly is something that as territories we've been in discussion with the UK as registration processes. We do give permission now to certain commercial operations for unmanned aircraft, primarily for...
Is that for drone?
Drones, yes, referring to drones. And the drones are widely used for many things these days, photography, for inspections in hard-to-reach places. It's a number of things, and there's a permission required because that's another form of commercial air transport requirements under the order.
What are the requirements in relation to the operation of drones?
There are restricted areas that you can operate a drone.
Because Cayman is small, right?
Exactly, and particularly in the vicinity of airports, that's where it's more vulnerable. And then we have low-flying aircraft operations. We have the MRCU plane, so they have to be protected as well. So when someone wants to use a drone for commercial purposes, they're required to obtain certain knowledge of the airspace, knowledge of aviation legal requirements, and they become, in essence, an AOC holder for a drone. And with that permission, they are allowed to operate within the restricted areas. There are other areas that we have an interest in looking at, especially with the lessor world. We think there are other areas that we could probably, in the near future, provide some services.
As a strategic organization, we're constantly looking at ways to innovate. One of our greatest assets, I think, are our staff and our contractors, our staff locally, whether it be technical or administrative staff. We try to ensure that they maintain competence in the fields that they exercise oversight. So to see a future peg to the continued development and promotion of staff, to look at the innovation of how we can diversify the register or our systems and platforms, electronic means to support that, which all will go together with just modernizing our whole approach to regulatory excellence, really, as we go forward.
The Cayman Islands Aircraft Register, the Civil Aviation Authority, have a role to play in whatever developments there are globally, and we maintain very close liaison with other jurisdictions. The larger jurisdictions are our big neighbor to the north. We have excellent relationships with the FAA. Obviously, we have excellent relationship with the UK and their industry that's impact our own in many other respects. So it is a bright future for aviation.
I think it's important to recognize, especially as a small island where air transport is so critical to our connectivity, cargo, moving passengers back and forth. It really underpins our two pillars of our community, of our society, tourism and the financial sector. So we have to have a safe, credible, and vibrant air transport industry and aviation industry.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think sometimes what you do, it gets lost in the background, right? The importance and the significance of what so many of these organizations do, but you in particular, you take it for granted. If you are not doing what you do with a level of excellence and demanding excellence of your clients, then particularly our lives could be at risk. And I think people don't always recognize the role that you play. We take it for granted. As a private sector organization, the collaboration that we've had with the Civil Aviation Authority throughout the years has been excellent. We continue to be excited by your new innovations. We want to collaborate more on new ideas, and we look forward to doing more with you as an organization, throughout the coming years.
Yes, and we do too as well.
Thank you for the partnership.